Hello.
Hello.
You've been talking about this film for a while, and I have,
yeah.
super excited to see it. I loved it. I really did. It's it's a sensual experience. It's fun. I said to John C. Reilly today, I was like, you know, when you go to theme parks and you go in one of those virtual reality sort of rides and you're ducking things, it's kind of like that. It's wonderful.
It's a ride.
When you saw Kong on a script, was that yes?
Kind of, yeah. yeah. It was a combination of Kong and the fact that it was just an old-fashioned adventure.
Yeah.
And I was playing the guy at the middle of it who's sort of a bit world-weary and thinks he's seen it all, and then he hasn't.
Because when we see him, first of all, he's in a brothel in Shanghai or Bangkok or somewhere.
Yeah.
And you instantly start going, oh, how did he get there?
Yeah, in Saigon, I think it
was.
Was
it Saigon? Was
yeah,
it?
Yeah.
So do you start thinking about, I mean, did you have discussions about how you got to where we find him?
Always, yeah. It was really interesting because the official line is, I think it still is, that the British Army did not serve in Vietnam.
Okay. But the real story.
Well, I found a few things out. But they did, there was, in the 60s and 70s, the SAS was so highly regarded in jungle tactics and strategy that they were employed by, they had a jungle warfare school in Malaya, and I think they trained the Cambodians in their techniques. So it was nice that there was the idea of this extreme special forces soldier who's a bit lost, hasn't gone home, why is he there?
Yeah.
And they need John Goodman's character, who's like head of the expedition. They need this guide through the jungle, and that's him.
Were there a lot of stunts in this?
A lot.
How do you decide what you do and what you don't do, or does someone else decide that for you? So look at the list for today. I'll do 1, 5, and 8.
I kind of decided I was going to do everything.
Wow.
Yeah. I wanted to, because it's sort of the job of this film, if you're playing the SAS guy.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed that so much. There's one bit of the film, I don't want to spoil it too much. Jordan, the director, and I call it Gas Mask Samurai.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
And there's a fight choreographer called Ilram Choi, and he was Andrew Garfield's double for Spider-Man, and he's an athlete and an acrobat, and he can make his body do things that only cartoons can do. And he taught me how to do a few of those things over a weekend. It was really fun.
It's really weird because when I saw that scene, I was lucky enough to take part in some virtual reality Fruit Ninja a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you've ever played Fruit Ninja.
That sounds excellent.
I felt like a ninja. It was amazing. And when I watched it, I was like, that's what I was doing in virtual reality. Not at all. Anyway, similar.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, definitely. It's all choreographed, isn't it? Is that kind of, is it?
Yeah.
Do you, and because it's so fluid and beautiful almost, and I think that it's kind of slowed down slightly as well, isn't it? So you really capture all
a little bit, yeah.
Almost kind of like balletic movements almost in a way.
Well, combat can be that. Like when stage and screen combat is always about choreography. Really, it's more like shooting a dance sequence in a musical than it is like shooting combat, because there are cameramen and sound operators, and you can take their head off if you're not precise.
Real knife, then, yeah.
Yeah,
real, like, blade.
Yeah, real blade. Wow. Yeah. I think probably blunted.
Okay.
But yeah, and it was so. I just loved choreographing it. There's something really, the imagery that Jordan had showed me a concept image of that 2 years ago.
Oh wow!
And it was like out of a comic book or a cartoon, and bringing that to life is just so fun.
The scene where you and Bree's character are in the helicopter and you see him for the first time.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. And I was talking to John earlier today about what you all looked at, or what was there in front of you in reality when you were filming those scenes. And he said, sometimes it was this, or it was a tennis ball, or sometimes it was nothing. But what he said he loved was that it almost kind of took him back to being a child when you do role play.
Yeah.
And so you'd kind of pretend that you were fighting a monster in your bedroom.
Totally. Or you're in the sea, or you're in a swimming pool or something, and Yeah, it is, in the end, it's just a leap of imagination. You can do everything you can to think about it, but ultimately you're just looking, and Bree last and I would pick a tree or a cloud or a mountain and just say, well, there we go, that's the eye line, and then just have to imagine it.
There's some beautiful pictures that we just saw, because Bree's camera actually had film in it, or a camera had film in it, that they took pictures, and there's some amazing pictures, and there's some great shots of you in the helicopter as well. I mean, this job and some of the other, roles that you've played, amazing experiences.
Amazing.
To be in an open-sided chopper flying across the most beautiful landscape.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Oh, wait, back in the room, this is work.
Yeah, one of the most. I mean, it was a second unit day because they had the camera rigged on the front of a helicopter, which was much more acrobatic than the Hueys we were in. And it was Bree and I go up in this vintage 70s Huey about 4 o'clock in the afternoon in Oahu, in Hawaii. And we're seatbelts on, no doors, 3 helicopters going up in formation, flying out into the Pacific. We bank left, we lean out the end. Whoa. You can sort of see the ocean beneath you, turn around, and the sun is just dipping behind a dormant volcano. I mean, it's like actually being in Jurassic Park, basically, without the dinosaurs. It was amazing.
A little bit scared when the helicopter dipped? Or
genuinely loved it.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know why. I was really had a really secure fastening, but it's sort of thrilling. I mean, yes, I guess. I remember I did it, ad for Jaguar with a similar thing about 3 years ago, but I was holding a cup of tea. And I was terrified of dropping the cup of tea and it landing on someone and then not sitting here in front of you.
Good having a distraction.
Yes.
As opposed to just your fears. It's wonderful to see all these different, as an actor, being able to throw yourself to different genres and different things and different experiences.
Yeah.
And he's an action hero. That's kind of what he is, James Conrad, which is a wonderful British kind of
sounding name.
Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah,
It tells you what he is just by the name, doesn't it? Almost.
Yeah.
But kind of done the Marvel thing, done the Shakespeare thing as well. Do you kind of find yourself sometimes going, I'd really quite like to do this, or I'd quite like, and almost seeking it out slightly?
I definitely wanted, before this and before The Night Manager, I knew I wanted to play some characters who made good choices, because I played a couple of characters who made some very bad choices. Like Loki, that's his eternal tragic flaw, is that he just makes very selfish choices all the time.
Yeah.
And the sort of heroism of Conrad, I really enjoyed, that he starts off in this lost place, and his experience on the island awakens a humility in him.
Yeah.
That I was genuinely drawn to, that he comes into contact with nature on a vast scale, and he's humbled by that, and that he sort of remembers that we are, as human beings, we share the planet with a whole array of other life, and acknowledging that is a good thing.
I think that's a really kind of underlying message of the film, is about, I think there's a line in the film where they go, this is his home.
Yeah.
We're kind of disrupting his landscape, his natural habitat sort of thing, and you kind of go, oh yeah, there's, as well as all the kind of fun and big and loud things that are going on, this is a lovely thing that's sitting underneath it all, I think, as well.
I just love that about the story. I think that's why it's endured, so this need for, Kong is a representative of the power of nature. And it's all its majesty, but also its brutality.
Yeah.
I mean, if you and I just were helicoptered into the Amazon basin and dropped in it, we'd all be like, right. Let's pitch camp. And I think there's something about, we still need that mystery of the natural world.